All right, guys, let's start it up here. Today we're talking about savings, but before we get into that, was everybody able to get on Canvas and take the survey? They tried? Pretty easy. So after you take the survey, you need to get into Canvas and just write whatever the instructions say, like I took the building vault survey or whatever it says, because then that notifies me to go and verify that you took it to get points. So if you never stick anything in Canvas, you won't actually get points. That make sense? So you have to take the survey and then post in Canvas that you took the survey. Okay? Any other questions about that? All right. Today we're going to talk about savings. And let's see if this will come up as working great on my computer. They're trying to fix stuff, so this is a little, it's supposed to come up so I can play it right from here instead of get out and stick it in, but it doesn't look like it's working. So we're going to talk some savings and a little bit of kind of automatic savings and investing and things like that. But we'll get more into investing. Come on, just play. That's why I use my laptop. All right, so this is a mom who shopped her family broke instead of saved. So we'll watch this one here. Hopefully we can actually hear it.
I love this part. It's amazing because it doesn't say it's a...
About 4 years ago, there was a young mother from California on the show, and all of our viewers got so fired up about her reckless spending. But what I realized is that the reason people were so fired up about it is because her reckless spending is really a reflection, as is everything in your life, a reflection of where we are as a culture. It's a mirror to ourselves.
From the outside, it looks like she has the perfect life. She's a stay-at-home mother of 6 children, which in itself is a really huge job. She lives in a big house in the suburbs, drives a new car, wears expensive clothes, and she may look like $1 million, but behind closed doors, it's an entirely different story. As you listen to Felice, think about what you spend on a typical day. You know, like millions of Americans, are you heading toward financial catastrophe by living a life you cannot afford?
Most people think that we have money. I think they would be pretty shocked to know that we didn't have money.
Every day we go to Starbucks. There's very few days that we miss. No, I probably spend $400 a month at Starbucks.
Because her own 6 credit cards are maxed out, Felice secretly used her husband's credit card to get a cash advance.
What I do is I take a credit card check and I'll go to the bank and I'll just cash it so he won't see money coming down in the bank.
That's smart.
When I do shop, I do kind of get a rush. It makes me feel good, but afterwards though, I get depressed. I'll buy something even if I really don't like it because I have to come out with something. 152 is actually pretty good because it's usually 300 or 400 or 500. I take care of the bills, so my husband doesn't realize how much money that I've spent on hair and nails and extensions. I know I've probably spent $3,000 to $4,000 just on the cost of the extensions in the last 2 years.
Good morning, Felice. How are you?
Felice spends nearly $60 a week on tanning and manicures.
This is the relaxing time of the day, huh? All right, here we are, guys. All right, go. I was in there probably less than 10 minutes and spent $112 on candy, gum, glasses, jewelry, and an outfit. Everything I do looks great and, looks fun from the outside, but nobody knows what you go through what I'm going through on the inside. And it's a temporary fix. Because once the clothes are gone and once the money's gone, there's nothing else. You just get yourself into debt. I feel like a failure. My mom was kind of overbearing and made me feel like I never did anything right. I have a husband who does the same thing. I see my kids turning out to be like me, and I don't want them to do that.
Wow, do you see yourself in any of that? It's really easy to look at that picture, that story, and say, well, I'm certainly not that bad. But I think Felice is such a great teacher, covering so many of the lessons we've been talking about here. Living a lot, being attached to things that you think are going to bring you work, to an image, to stuff, to what you believe the world values. You know, I've said this before, anybody who's pretending to be anything other than who you really are, you will never, ever reach your full potential.
All right. What do you guys think of that? Is that scary? Did that hurt anybody else's heart like it hurt mine?
Yeah.
It did?
Yeah.
So you guys know the song, If You Want to Be Happy for the Rest of Your Life, make a... You guys know that song?
No.
You don't? Oh. Well, it goes, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, make an ugly girl your wife. You guys don't know that song? I changed it to low maintenance girl your wife because, you know, I mean, you could see the conflict if the husband's a saver and she's out there doing what's called financial infidelity. Did you guys see that? She's using secretly his credit cards and they're maxing out and she takes care of the bills and he doesn't know what's going on. So that's why when you're in a relationship, you want to communicate about money and make sure you're on the same page and not be doing financial infidelity. But that, like Oprah said, that's kind of, it depicts something in each of our lives that we're maybe hiding or we're doing that we know we shouldn't be doing. And so I want you to be thinking about how well do you save? And also just... was everybody, I mean, you don't have to print it out, but were you able to find where the handouts are? So there's a handout that's online. Easy ways to grow your savings. Did anybody find that? If you go to files, it's under, there's folders and you can download this. And so it has different reflection questions. It tells you which slides kind of it goes with. And so different links that I'm going to show you are on here. And then at the very end, it has all of the different resources and links that we talk about. So if you want to get any information from what we talk about, the PowerPoint is on there as well as this handout, okay? Just so you guys know that. So what was I talking about? Okay, so we'll keep going. So you don't want to have financial infidelity, and I want you to think about and reflect. That's what I was talking about. Reflect yourself on how much you save, how much you spend. If you're anywhere like this lady that's kind of spending money on things she doesn't necessarily need, okay? So there's a warning. Past behavior, though we can choose to change. We take ourselves wherever we go. So even in the past, if we've been inappropriate with our money, or we've done financial infidelity, or we haven't been saving, or we've been spending too much, or going out to eat too frequently, or whatever it is, you can choose to do something different, right? So this is the willpower instinct. And I like this quote. It says, now I know this sounds kind of weird, but I found some research showing that many of us don't have the incentive to eat healthy or save money or add to our retirement accounts because we think of ourselves in the future as someone different altogether. Remember, my future self will take care of that. In fact, the future self can seem to be this annoying other person who wants to prevent you from having fun in the present. Is that true for any of you guys? I can't just go out to eat, or I can't do this because my future self's telling me I'm supposed to save for the future, and retirement's like forever away, right? This future self's killing the joy of today. You guys feel like that at all? If you do, then you just kind of have to try to get your current self and your future self closer together, because what you want to do is think of short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals that excite you. So do you want to retire early and travel the world? Do you want to buy cars with cash and not have to have loans? Do you want to pay off your home early? Think about what you could do if you didn't have a car payment or a home payment or student loans, and what you could experience and have fun. And so we're trying to get the future self and current self closer together so that the future self isn't the joy killer, and we're not just irresponsible today because some future self will take care of it. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to help shape your mentality, this rich mentality rather than the poor mentality, your mindset, along with kind of this is how you do it, because that's what's really key. So we saw this before, but I didn't read any of this, so I wanted to read about this future self. Think about this. Do you optimistically overcommit yourself to responsibilities only to find yourself overwhelmed by impossible demands? So do you say yes to a bunch of things that sound great, but then you feel this overwhelmed because you said yes to too many things? So one of the great things that you can learn, and we'll talk about later in the 8 success principles, is to say no. Being able to say no to things that are other people's priorities, but not your own priorities, right? Is there an important change or task that you're putting off, hoping that your future self will have more willpower and will show up to fix it? Do you talk yourself out of something today, telling yourself that you'll feel more like it tomorrow? So again, this future self, we're trying to combine the future self and today's self so that we're one person, and who you are today and the choices you make today is who you become and who you are tomorrow, right? So let's get into savings. Why should I save? Why do you guys think, why would you save? Why would you want to save?
So you have money in the future?
So you have money in the future, okay. Does that sound exciting though? Are people excited about that, having money in the future? Is that an exciting thing? Good, I mean, it is for me, but some people again be like, well, that's far off. So you have money in the future, okay? What can some of this future money do, pay for? What are some exciting, what?
Mortgage.
Okay, a mortgage, or even pay off the home. But I'll provide maybe a down payment to get into a home rather than just rent. So that'd be one thing. What's another thing that this saved money could maybe buy you? Emergency, what?
No, I said emergency.
Emergency? Okay, what else? Vacation? Yeah, vacations. So the things that we want, some toys that we want, or vacations that we want, or pay cash for a car, down payment on a house, have emergency fund. This is why we want to save. So why, if we want to save and it's so great, why don't you save? Either why aren't you saving at all, or why aren't you saving more than you currently are? What are things that are keeping you from saving what maybe you want to? What do you guys think?
Things that I want to buy.
The things you want to buy now, right? So the now is more important than the future. We're saying, I care more about, remember, going out to eat all the time, or I care more about looking good and having this brand new truck, or I care more about going to the movies all the time than I do about those other things you said that you wanted to save for. So how do we align those to get a bigger yes for saving so that we can say no to the less important things, if they are less important to you, of going out to eat all the time? So that's kind of, again, a mindset thing, trying to figure out, I need to have a strong yes so that I can say no to some of these things, right? Ugh. All right, let's see what this one was. This is the marshmallow test. Have you guys seen this before? All right, I want you guys to watch this, whether you've seen it or not, and think about the marshmallow as being maybe $1,000 or a new car or something that you want, okay? It's not a marshmallow. The marshmallow is for the kid, but for you it signifies something different.
Okay, sit in that chair. All right, here's the deal. Marshmallow for you. You can either wait, and I'll give you another one if you wait, or you can eat it now. When I come back, I'll give you another, so then you'll have two. But stay in here and stay in the chair till I come back, okay? All right.
You can have the $1,000 now, or you can have $80,000 later when you retire. Which one do you want? You want to take the 1,000?
I'm gonna go do something, and I'll come back.
It's not yummy. It's really good.
If I don't look at it, it will go away. He just test drove a car, but he doesn't want to buy it yet. Because if he waits, he gets to buy cash with cash. He's imagining driving the car in the future. Uh-oh. Oh, gosh. They won't notice.
Alright, so I'm gonna leave and then I'll come back, okay? So you can either eat it right now or you can wait, either way.
She doesn't even wait till she leaves. How many of you are that girl? I don't care what you said. I want my $1,000 now.
How'd you do? Did you do good? You did? You wanted to eat it, didn't you? Yeah. So if I didn't give you another one? Okay, I can have both. You need.
That girl's like, I'm not even waiting in the chair. I'm out of here. All right, so what does that teach us then? So if I said, here's $1,000, you can have it now to do what you want, or a down payment on a car or whatever, or you can either choose later $100,000 or free cars for life, right? That's a real option. So would you take the 1,000 now, or would you wait and take the 100,000? It's kind of like this. And so those who choose to save have and can buy those things later, right? Those who decide now is more important and I just want to go out and do all these things now is like the girl that's just eating her marshmallow, gets up and takes off, right? And they actually did a study on this, and those who could withhold gratification, instant gratification, did better in many areas of life later on with, financially and relationally and just self-awareness and stuff like that than the person that just has to instantly gratify their I want it now idea. Does that make sense? All right, so what are the benefits of saving and then the consequences of not saving? Let's talk about that. So you guys remember this? You guys remember which investor, other than E, A, B, C, or D, had more at the end? D did, right? So again, they saved the $100 before and got the $100,000 later, right? All right, so it is beneficial. Hopefully this one will work. This is, if you want a penny now, come on, is it down here? Play. Anybody know how to get this to play without going out of it? All right. Again, it works on my laptop, but not necessarily here. So if you had could have $1 million today or a penny that doubles for a month, which one would you do? Did you guys already see this before?
Reach their fortunes. In order to do this, I want you to pretend that I can grant you one wish from two choices. Choice one is this: I will give you $1 million. Or choice two is that you get 1 cent that doubles every day for 31 days. On top of that, you have to drive 1 hour north to meet a friend of mine named Vendela. She will double your cent and give you 2 cents, and then you have to drive all the way back home. Then on day 2, you take your 2 cents back to Vendela, and she doubles your 2 cents and gives you 4 cents, and then you drive back.
All right, so which one? Who wants to drive an hour and get a penny and drive back, and then drive an hour and get 2 pennies and drive back? Raise your hand. Who wants to do that? Who would rather just be like, no way, I just want my $1 million? Who wants to do that? All right. So let's see what happens here.
Well, you do this every day for 31 days. Which would you choose? $1 million or 1 cent doubles every day? Well, as a factory worker, it wasn't even a contest. $1 million for me, please. Who wants to run around for pennies? Here's where we find out that ignorance is not bliss. If you have a calculator, you can follow along and check it out for yourself. In day 1, you have 1 cent. Day 2, you double it, and you have 2 cents. Day 3, you double it, and you get 4 cents. That doubles and becomes 8 cents, and by the 10th day, you'll have $5.12. How embarrassing if you took the penny a day. Let's look at the 11th day. $5.12 doubles and becomes $10.24, then it doubles and becomes $20.48, and then it doubles and becomes $40. And in the 20th day, that doubles and becomes $5,242.88. Well, it's still not looking too good.
All right, anybody want to switch? Are we still good? The $1 million still wants those, and the penny double still wants those? Anybody want to switch? You're 20 days and you're only at $5,000. All right, just checking.
But if you chose the penny, but what happens in the 21st day? 5,000 doubles and becomes 10,000, 10 doubles and becomes 20, and on the 28th day, $671,000 doubles and becomes $1.3 million. But wait a minute, we didn't agree to 28 days. We agreed to 31 days. And so on the 29th day, 1.3 doubles becomes 2.6 million. 30th day, 2.6 million becomes 5.3 million. And in the final day of our agreement, day 31, $5,368,709.12 doubles, which is $10 million.
All right, so anybody want to switch now? You just want the million? You don't care about 10 million?
See, not even genie. I probably wouldn't be able to fit that many pennies in my car.
Oh, well, it changes to dollars once you get to the dollars, yeah. So 10 million versus 1 million. That's from a penny doubling. So compound interest, right? In fact, I think he quotes that here.
$37,418.20. Now he's laughing all the way to the bank. This is what the smartest man in the world, Albert Einstein, said when he was asked what he thought was one of the most powerful things on earth. He said that the 8th wonder of the world is compound interest.
So he has a lot of supposed quotes, but anyway. All right, so that's pretty cool, right? So why are we going through all these examples? Because the mindset of wanting things today needs to change. That's the poor mentality of I want it now. I have to have a brand new vehicle. I have to have the brand new iPhone. I have to have these things, these types of clothes. I have to go out to eat all the time. That mindset is keeping you poor. It's keeping you broke. It doesn't matter how much you earn. If that's what your mindset is, you're going to stay broke your whole life. So we're not just trying to teach you some tools of how to save and get out of debt and et cetera and invest, but we're trying to change your mindset to think, okay, what is the best way to build wealth, to retire early, to be able to purchase whatever I want, and to have total control of my life, right? To have a life full of fulfillment and success as you define it, rather than paycheck to paycheck all the way through retirement and then being poor in retirement. So that's what we're trying to help you think about. The future self and the now self kind of have to come together and figure out, what do I need to do? What are my goals, short-term, mid-term, long-term, to figure this out? Let's start doing it rather than just worrying about it in the future and I'll just do whatever the heck I want right now. You see what I mean? So if that's your mentality, we need to try to start shifting that a little bit. So you saw this as well. This is what we want. You start saving, and as it goes up, see how much higher it gets in the less amount of time. Compound interest just shoots up, just like the penny doubling. At first, it's not doing so great, but all of a sudden at the end, it's compounding, and you're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars a year instead of just maybe 10 or 20 or $30 a year with compound interest. So let me show you. Some people say, well, I know, but the stock market's all over, so isn't it kind of risky to invest in the stock market? If I'm saving money to invest, is that really the best use of my money? And let me show you a couple of 10-year returns. So this is Fidelity. Anybody heard of Fidelity? You can do this with whoever you want to. I picked Vanguard or Fidelity and T. Rowe Price. But this is 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. Do you guys see that? It's probably a little hard. 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. Control. So here's year to date, some of the returns. Looks like they've been doing pretty well. But if we look at the 10-year return, because you don't want to just see what the hot, these are mutual funds, and we'll talk more about this when we get into investing, but mutual funds are multiple different stocks all put together in kind of one folder, right? One fund. And so you're diversified across lots of different stocks. So some go up, some go down, but overall the fund does pretty well. So some people are like, well, you know, you're using 10% or 12% to compound annually, and that's not really realistic. Like, you need to use like 6 or 7% because nobody gets 12%. Well, what did all these guys do the last 10 years? Are those better than 12%? Yeah, so within the last 10 years, the up and downs, whatever, all of these funds, technology, consumer, technology, industrial, large growth, health, they all beat out the 10-year, or the 12%. They're all doing better. And these are mostly, this is 5-star ratings from Morningstar, which has all these different things. So I'd stay away from maybe this one because it's only 3-star, but 4 or 5 stars is usually pretty good. You go to mutual fund or T. Rowe Price and look at something similar, and it's going to be about the same, right? You got the 10-year over here, 18, 18, 17, 16, 15, 15, with high Morningstar ratings. So is it worth it to save? Is it too risky to invest in the stock market? We'll get to that more when we get to investing, but no, it's actually more risky to stay out of it because what about inflation risk? You guys know about inflation? Who can tell me what inflation is? Yeah, dollar uses value over time. So if I have $100 and I stick it in my savings account that's giving 0.25% a year, then how much would I get in the whole year on $100? If it was 1%, how much would I get? $1, right? If it's 0.25, I'd get a quarter. Is that good return? No, but you're like, well, you didn't lose anything though. Yeah, I did, because if inflation was 4% and I only got a quarter, I lost $4 but gained a quarter. So my money's now worth less than it was a year ago when I put it in there because inflation is going up, which means things cost more. Does that make sense? So you have to counteract that inflation, and the only way to do that is to invest it in real estate or the stock market or different areas, okay? So if you're getting 12% and the inflation's 4%, then you're still ahead 8%. And that compounds and your money doubles every 9 years or so, 9 years, okay? So this is what you could buy with your $20 in 1972, 92, and now you can only buy milk and bread and a couple things in 2012, and in 2019 it's even worse, right? So higher risk, lower risk, but you're going to be getting higher returns with the stocks and mutual funds and a lot less with CDs and savings accounts. And again, we'll get in there. So ask yourself again, why don't I save? Why am I not saving and putting that into my emergency fund or into my future car purchase fund or retirement fund? Why don't I do that? And you can reflect on it yourself, but hopefully you're changing from because I just want stuff now and I don't care about the future and I'm letting my future self worry about it too. Maybe I should start thinking about that, right? All right, so how do we save money without thinking about it? Anybody have any good techniques that you use or apps that you have or things that you do that help you save money and even better save it automatically? Anybody doing that right now that wants to share?
Well, there's an app where you put like your budget for the month and how much you want to save and tells you how much you can spend per day.
Okay, what is that? Do you know what it's called?
Buddy?
Buddy? Has anybody else used Buddy? So that sounds like a cool app. Anybody else use an app? Or
Stash and Acorns allows you to invest in mutual funds and stocks.
Stash and Acorns. Yeah, cool.
Automatically does it for you.
Yeah, has anybody used either of those? You've used one of those or you have a different one? Stash? Okay, good. What about tracking your money? Because is it really fun to get an Excel spreadsheet out and write down all your expenses or whatever? Is that super fun to do, to keep a budget and track your spending? No, right? Nobody's doing that. And if you are, then you should probably be in the statistics or math major. So what do we do to track our spending and kind of know where our money's going so we can decide where it goes without having it all cumbersome? Anybody using a tool or an app that helps kind of track your spending and create a type of budget? It sounds like Buddy does a little bit of that. Anybody use something else? Anybody heard of mint.com? Mint? No? So let's look at some of these. Again, they may or may not work. Oh gosh, we'll get to them. All right, so savings is decreased spending rather than increased income. It's a couple slides in that we get to these. So a lot of people say, well, where do I get this money for savings? And, you know, maybe you get an extra job or you work extra hours and increase income, but usually it's by, plugging these spending leaks, right? And spending leaks are holes in your pockets that money's leaking out of, and that would be your wants rather than your needs. So if you go out to eat all the time, if you go to Starbucks and get coffee, if you're spending all your money on manicures and hair extensions, these are spending leaks, right? If you're driving all over the place where you could drive less, you're spending money on gas that you don't really need to. If you have unlimited data on your cell phone and really you only ever use 1 or 2 gigs or whatever, not gigs, megabyte, what is it, gigs? Whatever it is, then, you know, if instead of unlimited, then you could lower your plan that gives you 3, because the most you've ever used is 2, and save money, right? So any money that you're spending more, if you have auto insurance and you haven't done comparison shopping and you're spending $600 or $800 every 6 months, and somebody else you can get it for $500, then you're spending money that you don't have to. If you have overdraft fees, if you go and rent something and take it back late and have a late fee, okay, all of these are spending leaks that money's going out of your pocket instead of keeping it. And if you can keep it, right, a penny saved is a penny earned, then this decreased spending is where you find the savings to then accomplish the goals that you want. Does this make sense? So sure, increase your income, but it's more important and usually happens by decreasing your spending. So here's some ways to find money, right? Find loose change, cut soda consumption out, substitute a coffee to bring it, you know, do it at home, bring lunch to work, eat out fewer times a month. So on and on and on down to, and I looked up, in fact, I think maybe I have it up here. There's lots of these all over the place, but yeah, 50 ways to save money, right? And it goes through and gives all these, your cable bill. You know, if you're still paying for cable, there's so many free or low cost alternatives that you can use. So why are we paying for cable? Like, cut the cable bill already and just get Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime or, you know, whatever it is. There's lots of things that only cost $12 instead of 80. So think about how am I spending my money and why am I spending it this way? Is it really giving me the benefit, and are there ways that I can minimize or cut my spending so that I actually have more money? Here's 12 free apps to track your spending and how to pick the best one for you. Again, all of these are on the handout that you can go look at, okay? Let's see if we can, if one of these videos. So easy ways to track, mint.com. We have to figure this out. Just before I came here, I made sure it played, and I think it just didn't transfer over. So I want you to see mint.com because this is one of the cool apps. It's free. Where's the video? Give me the video. Oh, come on. Mint.com video.
How do you keep track of your financial life? Statements, spreadsheets, scribbles? It's time for something better, something easier, something smarter. Mint is a free, easy way to manage your money that empowers you to take charge of your financial life. Get started with a simple one-time setup. Add your bank, credit card, home loan, and investment accounts. Mint quickly and securely pulls in the information and organizes it for you. That's it. No more bookkeeping. Mint keeps it all up to date. You can see all your accounts in one place with one login, anywhere, anytime. Mint uses bank-level security and alerts you to any suspicious transactions so you can rest easy. Mint shows you where your money goes. Your expenses are automatically categorized so you can keep track of how much and where you're spending. With one click, you can create a budget based on your spending history, make adjustments, track your progress, and find ways to spend smarter. Mint reviews your financial picture and makes personalized recommendations on ways you can save. You get all the information you need to make smarter decisions and plan for the future. Mint, it's the best free way to manage your money.
All right, has anybody used that or seen that before? That's pretty cool, right? So we say, well, I'm tracking my money because on my credit card statement or my checking account statement, you know, there's stuff there. But if we never look at it and figure out what's going on, that's not really helping us. And a lot of times we don't even review our statements to see, wait a minute, what's this charge? I got charged something I didn't do. I look over mine, and probably every other month, at least every 2 or 3 months, there's something on there that's not supposed to be. And I alert my credit card company, this isn't mine, I don't know what this is or whatever, and they remove it. If we're not checking our statements, then we're losing money as well, right? Spending leaks. So you could sign up for mint.com, it's free, it pulls stuff in there, it's as secure as a bank, and then it organizes it and says how much you're using, and you can be like, oh wow, I'm going out to eat and spending $400 a month. Instead of that, maybe I should try to do less and try to do $300 a month. So let me switch that to 300, and then that will warn me that, hey, you're getting close to the 300 and you still have 15 days left. Maybe you should cut back on eating. That's pretty cool, I think. So if you want a spending plan, if you want to track, again, you don't have to get your Excel spreadsheet out or things and make it complicated. Use something that's easy, a tool that makes sense that you'll actually use, right? I'm assuming that the other ones don't work, so we're going to look at the 2 others I wanted to show. Which one was Acorns? This one's really cool.
Imagine if every time you swipe your debit or credit card, you were setting aside money and investing money for the future. With Acorns, we can. Acorns rounds up the spare change in everyday purchases to the nearest dollar and moves the difference from your checking account into an Acorns investment account. That money is then automatically invested into a diversified portfolio recommended specifically for you. If you want to invest more sooner, it's easy to deposit a lump sum or set up a recurring investment anytime. And with unlimited deposits and withdrawals, you can invest and save exactly how much you want when you get more. Join over 1 million people who have already signed up. Download Acorns today, or go to acorns.com to get started.
All right, so does that make sense? You spend money, and it rounds it up to the nearest dollar, your change, and then it puts it over here and sends it to Acorns, and you choose how conservative or aggressive you want to be in your investment, and it diversifies into different investments and is actually investing that money in the stock market. So is that an easy way to invest money? Just spare change? Yeah, so a couple of you are doing that. I have that. I think it'd be great. So in my other class, I give like assignments, extra credit for people to pull their free credit report when we talk about credit, or sign up for Acorns, or another way is to automatically send money from your checking account. Say you get paid and money comes in twice a month, and automatically you send $10 or $20 over to this other savings account, and then once a month, that savings account, that money goes into an investment with, say, Betterment or Homestead.com. So Betterment and Homestead, again, the links are on the handout, are like Fidelity or Vanguard or T. Rowe Price, and they're for new investors and advanced investors, but new investors because there's zero, you don't have to like start with $1,000, right? You can sign up and start with as low as $20. And every month you want to put $20 in there, then we'll go and you can choose what type of investment in mutual funds and things. So we'll talk more about that when we get to investing. But it doesn't have to be hard. Make things automatic. Sign up for Acorns, sign up for automatic withdrawal, whatever it is. And so the one other one I want to show you is Digit. Anybody use Digit? Video.
Saving. You do it, right? Kind of. Not really. Yeah, not really. Who can blame you? It's boring. It requires all kinds of planning and stuff. But what if it was automated and also smart? Seriously, when you link Digit to your checking account, Digit studies your spending and income history to predict your cash flow, and then checks in daily for savings opportunities. Digit sets small amounts of money aside that you don't really need for your day-to-day expenses in a way that you won't notice. A few bucks here, a few bucks there, and it adds up. That money now sits in your FDIC insured Digit account. Digit sends you regular texts to fill you in on how much money has been saved. If you want some money back from Digit, just send a text. Boom, done. Your money's there next business day.
Digit automates your savings so you don't have to think about it or notice it happening.
Oh yeah, and it's free. That's it. Sign up for Digit.
All right. So that's another way that it kind of looks and sees your spending habits and things, and it takes a little bit here and there so you don't really notice, and it puts it in this account, and you can see when it was taken and what's taken, and you can decide and change those things. You have total control, but it tries to kind of behind the scenes, kind of like Acorns, to get you ahead of the game. So who's interested in any of these apps or resources? Okay, hopefully you're interested in saving. We asked the question, why do I save? Why should I save? And why don't I save? We talked about mindset a little bit, and a lot of the barriers might be, well, it's too hard, I have to get this and open an account and do all this stuff. No, you just sign up for Digit, or you sign up for Acorns, or you sign up for these things, and it can Stash is another one, automatically does it for you. Okay, so super easy. It's for the consumer of today. It's not difficult. So getting close to the end here. Anybody read this book, Nudge? So those things that we want to do, like if you play guitar and you're like, I really want to practice guitar, and then a week goes by or 2 weeks and you're like, I haven't practiced my guitar. I really want to practice my guitar. Well, nudge would be, what do I have to do to motivate me to play the guitar? It's hard to get it out and remember and to play it, even though when I start playing it, it's fun, right? I have to go all the way into my closet and get it out. So that's not really a big barrier, but it keeps us. So the nudge is, you get your guitar out and you put it in your way as you're coming home from work or school or coming out of your room, and it's sitting there with a chair with music on a stand. So how easy is it now to be like, oh, well, there's my guitar and there's the music. Let me play this a little bit. Rather than, I got to go into my room and grab it and come and get it up and set up. Does that make sense? So there are these little nudges to motivate us to do things. So it removes the barriers. It's a low-cost way to intervene in things you want to. It's behavioral and helps with decisions, right? And so you want to make things automatic. You want to nudge yourself, and the way to make it automatic and not even have to think about it are some of these apps that we're doing, okay? So make it automatic. Start small, think big, save at your bank, do these things. So again, at your bank, one thing that I do, I have different savings accounts. I've got like 7 of them because they're for different things. I have a car replacement fund, I have a vacation fund, I have an emergency fund, right? I want to save money in different ways, and I don't want to think about it all the time because that's a hassle. So I think about it with my wife, and we say, what do we want to do? How much of our money do we want to pay ourselves first and go to these things? And then we just set it up automatically. I get paid this day, and then a little bit later, automatically this much money just goes into these accounts. It just happens. It's automatic. I don't have to keep doing it every single month, and oops, I forgot this month, right? So set things up for success. You guys want to set yourself up for success. Think about it. Hopefully make some goals and say, I want to do this, and then set up a Betterment account and put $20 and it goes. Just set up an Acorns account and let it run behind the scenes. Do something to improve your situation that you weren't doing before, okay? So this is the Acorns. That's where we would have watched it. So here's a 30-day $100 savings challenge, if anybody wants to take this on. You save $1 the first day. Well, you do $1 the first 5 days, and then you do $2 5 days, and then you save $3, $4, $5 the rest of the time. And by the end of 30 days, you've saved $100. So you say, can I save $1 a day for 5 days? Yeah, I think I could do that. I go, and then can I save $2 a day? Then $3? And so you start thinking about it, and you're like, yeah, I want to reach this goal, like $100 in a month. That'd be pretty cool. Then I could use that and go set this up and stick it over here and open a Betterment account or whatever, right? That Dr. J said. And so you find yourself, as you're thinking of this, it's top of mind, right? You're keeping it in your brain. And when you want to go spend money and you want to go out to eat, or you want to go get the Starbucks coffee, or you want to go and buy the dozen donuts, you'd stop and think, Do I want this more than maybe reaching my goal of $100, or do I want this more than this? And you may choose, actually, no, I'm going to forego this time. Instead of going to Starbucks, I'm going to take that $5 and I'm going to stick it in my $100 savings plan for the month. Does that make sense? And as you do that, you start feeling better about yourself. You're like, I'm accomplishing and saving money. And look, I can look in my Acorns account, or I can look in this account, and it's growing, and this is exciting. Guess what? I can actually, I'm going to start saving $5 every day. Well, what's $5 a day for 30 days? 5 times 3 is what? 15 out of 0, $150, right? So it motivates you, but you have to start, just like playing the guitar, right? If you have to go and think about it a little bit, then but there's these nudges. If you start and you see the benefit and you start feeling good and getting this dopamine in your brain of, cool, this is good. I'm either paying down debt and it's moving faster, or I'm accelerating my savings. This is fun. I can forego some of these other things right now. Not cut out everything that's fun, right? But a few things so that I can accomplish this goal. Does that make sense? All right, so my question is, how much will you start saving each month? Each of you, right? Think about that. This class is a 1-credit class. I'm not following up on you whether you opened an account or not, like I would with my other. But hopefully you don't just come to this class and listen and be like, that's nice, and then don't do anything, right? Because we're going to talk about credit and pulling your credit report and why that's so important. Talk about debt. We're going to talk about student loans and not taking it all. So you guys should be thinking about, how can I improve my life through this class? Because I'm not here for me. I'm here to help you guys do that. So this is the last slide. And we got till 12:50, right? It's 12:50. Should I save when I have debt? Yes. Because your other things you'd be spending money on, you're minimizing, and you're saving to get into that habit. Not a ton, necessarily a ton, but you want to minimize your debt and save at least a little, because that gets you in the habit for the future. All right, so you have until tomorrow night to take this survey, and then on Tuesday we'll see you and talk about debt, okay? Thanks, guys.